Alright, so now we have the official teaser, a proper official teaser of the animated TV show of Stranger Things called as Stranger Things Tales from 85. Now there are a couple of things that we know about this show. Number one, it is going to be set between the seasons of 2 and 3. And number two, it is going to be canon to our original show. That means this show and our original show are in the same universe. Now this was obviously confirmed before, but there are a zillion different things that are happening in the show, or at least in the teaser, which makes me wonder, is it really canon? Is it really going to be taking place in our own world? Is this an alternate universe? Bunch of different things. Also, a few concerning things as well. And this concern pretty much is connected to, is this show really canon to our Stranger Things show? Obviously, we'll talk about this. But before that, let's break down each and every frame of the teaser. Like we always do here on this channel, let's get into it. So we start off with the first frame, which is of the arcade. Now, the arcade is pretty much famous from season number 2, because in season number 2, our party used to hang out here. And presumably, I can say that between seasons 1 and 2, when there was a year gap, they used to hang out at the arcade pretty much every time. So yeah, this is where the arcade actually comes in. Then we have a shot of the Wheeler's residence. Then we have a shot of a very good picture of Mike and Elle. Now this picture is obviously from the snowball dance sequence that had at the end of season 2, which is by far the sweetest scene in the entire Stranger Things. Yes, the sweetest thing in the entire Stranger Things. Then we have a shot of Elle where she is trying to hide by her sleeve her tattoo. We have Mike and the other party coming up to pick up Elle. Now here, one interesting thing, in the background you can see this is Lucas, this is Max, and this is Will, but we can't see Dustin. And yeah, by all means Dustin could be hidden behind this pillar, but there is a very interesting thing about Dustin as well. We'll talk about that later too. Then this is our first look at Elle. She has that curly short hair going on, which we saw predominantly in season number 2. Bam, we have Hopper. First look at Hopper. Now I'm not pretty much on board of what they did to Hopper in this animated show, in the teaser at least, because he is very comedic here. But I can understand, you know, this is an animated show. This is about to be a little exaggerated version, very similar version to our characters, but you know, we can just have our final thoughts on it after the series is premiered, which is going to be April. But anyways, let's move on. Yeah, this is the funny thing that I was mentioning about. Anyways, now this is very interesting, okay? Now they have obviously picked up Elle and they have gone into the woods, but there's no Dustin again. There is no Dustin again. I've seen these frames, there is no Dustin, but we have a different character. We have this character, we have this character, and this is not a kid. This doesn't look like a kid. And that character's name is going to be Nikki Baxter. There is a little bit of information of Nikki on the internet. I'm not sure how much of it is going to be true, but anyways, we just know that she is going to be one of the new characters, in fact. Now, I don't assume that she is going to be there in the entire show, but she is pretty much going to be in the thick of things when things really start to heat up. Now, I just don't remember seeing this water tower anywhere in Stranger Things season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But of course, here we have Lucas and Max just hanging out, just having a private moment. Lucas seems worried, but Max is kind of alright then. And this could be the snowstorm that Mike is mentioning in the voiceover. And he says that this is when we are going to start our campaign. And here we have our first look at Dustin. This is Dustin over here. And where are they? They are in the Hawkins AV Club. They are in Hawkins Middle School and they are in the AV Club. I love that. Now in this scene, they are just very nicely playing in the snow. We have Dustin, we have Lucas, then we have Max throwing a snowball at Will, then we have Mike and Elle. But just across the street, we have some kind of a monster which is just, you know, going underneath the snow in the direction of our party. Now this is where things get pretty interesting, because this is one of the guys whom we could associate with the Hawkins lab, but Hawkins lab didn't exist at this point in time. Remember, this is set between season 2 and season 3. After season 2, the Hawkins lab didn't exist. It was closed off. The door was closed. Everything was closed off. It didn't exist. But who's this guy? Now, this is where I think this could be one of the Russian guys, because in season 3, the Russian people set up the entire Sarkot Mall, and beneath the Sarkot Mall, they were trying to open a gate. So perhaps this could be one of those things, or this could be a scene in Russia. This could be a scene taking place in Russia as well. I don't think that's likely, but anything can happen. The next scene, we have the monster that this guy was looking for. And you see, this is unlike any monster that we have seen. Now this is obviously, it kind of looks similar to the demo dogs because it is tiny, it looks like a dog, but it also opens up like a demogorgon. Not entirely like a demogorgon, but it opens up its mouth like a demogorgon, but again, not entirely. So I don't know what this is, but this is one of the monsters that we are going to see here. Now this scene is very interesting. Now here definitely we have the reveal of the release date. It's going to come out on 23rd of April. Now you look at the entire scene, everything is green. Everything has a green hue. Why green? No idea. Then we have Max and Lucas trying to search a few things, trying to look for a few things, trying to look for clues. Then they come across this, and this is actually a pumpkin monster. We'll talk about that later when it comes on, but for now I'm excited for this scene. Now this is a very, very interesting Easter egg. Now this is definitely Dustin, and this is Dustin's camera, but just look at here what's written here. It is written Curiosity Voyage. Curiosity Voyage. Curiosity Voyage is kind of that word that they have, that Dustin has with Professor Clark, that, you know, never stop this curiosity voyage. This was mentioned in season 2.
Class, please welcome, all the way from sunny California, the latest passenger to join us on our curiosity voyage, Maxine.
I just love this Easter egg. I just love the fact that Dustin has Curiosity Voyage written on his camera. It's very, 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 very nice Easter egg that they've put in here. Now this is one of the wines here. This is definitely one of the wines. Now here we have again the new character called as Nikki Baxter. Now in this scene we only don't have two characters, and those characters are Max and Lucas. Now they are at the location of the pumpkin monster, and the pumpkin monster is pretty a nice detail again, because in season 2 Pumpkin played somewhat of a interesting role because it was set around the Halloween season, and also we had that whole pumpkin farm storyline at the start of season 2. Yeah, this is the pumpkin monster that I was talking about. Now we have the first look at Steve. I didn't expect that, okay, and Steve is along with Dustin here, but in this car we can see another wine appears. Wow, this is again interesting. Now the question is this really a wine? Because again it opens up. It could be a part of a monster. Now Dustin has a map in his hand. That means they are looking for a specific location to go to. Now we are at the school and we have Mike and Will, and they are looking at a monster here. Now the entire setting of it kind of feels like this could be a dream. This could be a dream that Will was having. And why I say that, because the next shot is this hand. Now this is a human hand. This could be a hand of Vecna. And now I can see that there are only 4 fingers here. There are no 5 fingers, but this could be a loose detail that they put in because this is just a dream. This could be a nightmare that Will had in between season 2 and 3. Then we have a shot of some office space, pretty random stuff, or is it the hospital? Now I really love the Coca-Cola branding here again. This is the Coca-Cola branding. Coca-Cola is really a very integral part of Stranger Things. Now we have Will wielding a hammer against this monster. Now in the next scene, a huge explosion happens. Then we have this new character here, Nikki. Now this was a very, very cool scene where Eleven uses her power to save Mike. And another interesting detail here. Eleven is bleeding from her right nose. You tell me, when do you remember that Eleven bled from her right nostril? Now I remember her bleeding from both of her nostrils, but she majorly, bleeds from her left nostril, but here she's bleeding from her right nostril. Just tell me in the comments and help your brother out. Just tell me in the comments and help me out that do you remember a scene where she has bled from her right nostril? Now this thing that Elle is bleeding from her right nostril, along with a new character being introduced in the show which is not mentioned anywhere in the entire Stranger Things after that, along with the fact that Will literally fought with this huge ass monster. Now these are a couple of things that makes me wonder, is this show really going to take place in our universe, or it is just not connected to our universe? Now it could be canon, so we can say that the Duffer Brothers were not lying. Absolutely, by all means, the Duffer Brothers, when they said that this show is going to be canon to our show and it is going to take place between season 2 and 3, that could really be true, but just not in our universe. There could be multiple universes, there could be multiple Earths, and this season could be taking place there. Again, this is very, very confusing things, and this is kind of really concerning if it really takes place in our own world, and if it is really canon. You see my concern, right? You see my concern that there are some very, very big things which are not mentioned in Stranger Things after that. I'm not sure. I'm just waiting for another trailer, some more updates about the show, and especially watching the show in April, okay? Then there and there we'll have all of our answers. Anyways, we are still not done with the breakdown, because next scene we have of this monster. Again, a very different monster. Again, the entire background is purple. It's pink. The sky is pink. Could be a different universe, or this could be just a bad nightmare. This scene just made me laugh for two reasons. Number one, they showed Steve, and Steve calls her Nancy. But she's not Nancy. She calls her Nancy, and then he corrects himself by saying her correct name, and that is Natalie. Now this is again a very good homage to the character Nancy, because Nancy is played by Natalie Dyer. So yeah, that was a pretty cool thing. Anyways, these are all my thoughts about the breakdown, the first teaser trailer of Stranger Things animated show Tales from Midify. And as I said, I really had a smile on my face when I was watching the entire teaser. But somewhere it also kind of concerned me that, we have a new character, we have some big things happening which are not mentioned in the show. And I have made a very interesting video here where I talk about how Nancy and Jonathan could really end up together perhaps in the 1990s when they are all grown up, because we all know that they broke up in season 5. But this is a very, very interesting video. Not a lot of views there. Please watch it, share your thoughts about that video in the comments of that video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.